Hello, my fellow YouTubers. This is Secondinius. This is the end result of a recent discussion I had with a creationist. There were two long, drawn-out discussions I've had with two separate creationists over the past week. This is the more educated one, if there is such a thing. Basically, I'm going to go from start to finish and show how all of this is complete bullshit, and if you actually do some research, you will find the truth. Let's start at the beginning. No pun intended. Here's abiogenesis. Um, this was never a focal point for me in any of my discussions. I was always discussing evolution when the creationists would bring abiogenesis into the conversation. Abiogenesis proves that life can come from non-life. The building blocks of life under the Miller-Urey experiment are created within a week, I believe it is. Several of the basic amino acids are created. So it is possible that we do not need a creator. There does not have to be a creator. Another comment was that Darwin plagiarized the works of his father. First of all, it was actually his grandfather who first suggested evolution, and Darwin in no way plagiarized his works when he presented his evidence for evolution. He did his own research and presented it that way. Another comment was that the Egyptians believed that life came from sludge in the Nile. Okay, first of all, I don't know what this person was attempting to portray here, but it would have only helped my side of the story had it actually been true. The Egyptians, much like the Christians, believe in a creator. They do not believe, essentially, in evolution. The confusion here is the Nile is thought to have brought life, actually does bring life on a technicality, because with the rise and the fall of it, it will irrigate the soil and therefore allow them to grow crops. Without the Nile going through its cycle of rising and falling, their crops will not get irrigated and will not grow, and they will die. That's hence life from the Nile. Please don't twist things out of proportion. I know it's a lot to ask, but come on, you gotta stop. There's no words for this, honestly, anymore. This has been covered so many times by so many different people that it just doesn't need to be repeated. But I have to repeat it. Adolf Hitler was not an atheist. He was baptized in a Catholic church. In lots of his speeches, he said that he was a Christian and that he was doing God's work. Even in Mein Kampf, he said that it was God's work that he was doing, taking out the Jewish people. Their belt buckles read Gott mit uns, Gott mit uns, which is God with us. So, further proof that he believed in a God. There was a statement in the letter saying that Darwinism leads to Nazism. This is not exactly true. Again, Hitler actually forbid the origin of species, so he really didn't believe it in any way, shape, or form, according to historical records. Darwin was a racist. Well, you have to realize this is 1859 we're talking about, not 1990s or something. Things were a bit different back then. Were they right? No, but things were a lot different back then. And there was a bunch of black people that played very important roles in Darwin's life, and he was very much so against slavery and racism. And if you actually look into this, he does say it. It's not hard to find this information. Haeckel and his embryos, another great one. Yes, Haeckel made pictures, drew pictures, and claimed them to be true when in fact they weren't, and he admitted this. Yet, after actually proving this, he was a lot closer to the truth than anybody ever gave him credit for. The beginning stages of life all are very close. They will resemble each other. It's not until later stages that things start to actually differentiate. And those beginning stages of life being very similar definitely point to a common ancestry. Um, this was brought up. The Tasmanian Aborigines. Uh, there was uh, basically the person said that I hadn't been taught about this, which is half true. I do vaguely remember going over this in history, but not exactly um, in deep detail. I did have to look this up to find out where this came from. The claim was that that white people believed the Tasmanians to be the missing link between humans and apes, based on um, a notion from the Origin of Species where uh, in the evolutionary chain, the whites were at the top and the blacks at the bottom. Um, this, of course, is ridiculous, but again, you're going back 150 years, so it's a lot different back then. It doesn't, forgive what was done. This story comes from the last full-blooded male Tasmanian, William Laney, and when he died, they actually cut his skull out of his head and replaced it with somebody else's. Um, and this is where it's blown out of proportion. They didn't, go after all of their skulls, just this one man's skull they took. Uh, I was informed, as an atheist, that I have faith in something that promotes genocide. Well, not really. If you actually look at your Bible, you will see that it is in fact your God that promotes genocide and infanticide and rape and slavery and some very vile, vile ideas. Um, I'm not going to, go into all the specifics. Again, this is stuff you can look up on your own very easily if you do so with an open mind and do not get your information from sites such as drdino.com and Answers in Genesis. Oh, the creations and all. Carbon-14 dating and the shells of living mollusks. Okay. I don't remember the name of the phenomenon on this, but basically, marine life, forms of marine life, are not accurately dated with carbon-14 dating. This has been known for quite a while now, and there was a big paper written up to present this information to say, hey, look, it's not very accurate on specific types of life, and these are the reasons why. Again, if you do the research, you will find out I'm not going into full definition. I am not doing all of the work for you. That said, it needs to be understood that there is more than one type of radiometric dating. We do not rely solely on carbon-14 because it's only accurate to give or take 60,000 years. Um, the reason why we don't use carbon-14 to date fossils is, well, there's no fucking carbon in them. We use a few other types of carbon radiometric dating to date the rocks in the layers where these bones are found and give an approximation of what time period these were from. Um, Again, none of these are accurate to a year specifically, and they don't just do one test. They take several samples from several sections and they test them with several different types of radiometric dating that would apply to going back that far. You're not going to use carbon-14 dating to date something that's several million years old. It's just not going to work. That's all there is to it. Um, it's not that hard for you to actually take a minute and research what it is you're talking about.